So for those of you I haven't met personally, my name is Brandon Hegg, one of the coaches here with XFA. And one of the things we always want to do is we want to continue to bring value and value adds that you may have not heard of, you maybe haven't seen, but they're what the top folks are using to drive business. And this is one of those times. So as in preparation, before I hand it over to Luke, one of the things I did was I went through LinkedIn and I took a look at my connections, who mostly are financial advisors. And what I noticed is it's a lot of the same thing. And for a lot of folks, they're very limited on what they can use, what they can put out there, and what is, the captivity that they have to live in when it comes to things like social media, digital marketing. And then in that range, how do you stand out? How do you stand out amongst the group while still living within the boundaries? And for a lot of our folks that are at Ameriprise, Luke and his team are approved. They're either right at the approval with digital or days away. And so this is one of the few opportunities to really leverage what is available. They've got thousands of articles already ready to go. So I'm excited for Luke to share. So for those of you who can see him on the screen, Luke is by far an authority in leadership, a lead generation specialist, and a referral expert. And one thing, so Luke and I have been interacting, working together for a couple of years. And one thing that I know Luke passionately believes is that businesses run on relationships. And so one of the things he does is he teaches the principles of relationship marketing. And he's helped over 100,000 entrepreneurs, small businesses grow those companies that they've started. So he's not only, if you think of the old commercials, he's not only the president, he's a member. So Luke runs his own company. So he's practicing what he preaches. And ReminderMedia, which is Luke's company, they've grown to over 300 million in sales. They're on Inc.'s 5,000 list of the fastest growing companies in America. They've done that 4 years in a row. They've also been, while they're doing that, included on Philadelphia's top 100 places to work. So not only are they doing it very, very well, they're doing it right. If you haven't seen or haven't met Luke before, he co-hosts a podcast with his CMO Joshua called Stay Paid. They're one of routinely the top 30 marketing podcasts on Apple's podcast list. So it's a big deal. A lot of people listen to it. He's been in Entrepreneur Magazine, Forbes, Yahoo Finance, Disrupt, Inman News, Founder.com. I mean, he's on so many of these podcasts. Sharkpreneur, he was on with Kevin Harrington and Seth Green. And if you haven't, Kevin Harrington was one of the very first sharks on Shark Tank. So a big deal there. He's been on Marketing Genius with Grant Wise, Real Estate Rockstars. And you were just doing another webinar earlier today. So I could keep going and I could keep saying, but I think that's in the interest of not making you blush too much. Luke, I'll turn it over to you and let you take the floor and bring the value.
Brandon, you are too kind, man. I appreciate it. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited. Thank you so much for all of you spending your time with us today. I'm excited to share with you this info. I know it will help your business. I'm going to share my screen here real quick so you guys can see my slides. I want to talk about this idea of relationship marketing, specifically how do you turn clients into raving fans? And in the 18 years we've been at this, what I have seen is that the top producing businesses, they are incredible at relationships, and they somehow take their clients and they turn them into raving fans that refer them and never leave. And that's really what we're all striving to do. So how do you actually do that tactically? That's what I want to talk about today. I want to share with you, just to wake you up, is that 50% of all leads right now, 50% go to complete waste. That was a study done by Conversica. They looked at all these leads, and not just internet leads, right? You might be getting leads from the internet right now or buying leads from a lead provider, but I'm talking even deeper than that. I'm talking about your database right now. and ask yourself, are you getting the amount of referrals that you should be getting? Do you believe there are referrals that you could be getting from your current clients that you're not getting? And I would tell you that when you look at the data, it is insane how much loss is happening. I mean, you look at the widows moving their accounts, 70% of them move their accounts within 9 months of their husband passing away. Only 2% of kids keep their parents' financial advisor. All these stats go on and on about, man, there's so much opportunity. And the reason why I wanted to talk about raving fans is because I think if you can focus on creating raving fans in your business, you will solve that problem. Because when you create raving fans, it means you have a relationship with people. It means they don't forget about you. And the number one reason that 50% of leads are going to waste is because you're forgotten. They don't remember you. You're not keeping in touch. You're not developing a relationship. And so they end up using another advisor and forgetting about you. So I just want to start us off to make sure we're all on the same page is, hey, what is a raving fan? So if you've read the book, this was a term coined by Ken Blanchard. And he said, the term raving fan is to describe a customer who's so overwhelmed and floored by the experience they've received that they can't stop telling everyone about it. Now, here's the thing about raving fans, right? And take it from someone. So I have about 300 employees. This year in my business, I'm going to generate 28,000 referrals. So I have about 45,000 clients. This year in my business, we'll generate about 28,000 referrals. How do you do that? I want to teach you how I'm doing it in my business, and hopefully you can take some of that and apply it. But understand raving fans, there's two types. There's the good raving fan, which we all want, but there's also the bad raving fan. And the easiest way to think about this is think about going to a restaurant, and when you have a bad experience at a restaurant, what do people do? They rave about it. They go to Yelp. They write a bad review because what happened to them? They came to this steakhouse or whatever restaurant it was, and they got an experience that they didn't expect. That is truly what you can boil down creating raving fans to. Creating raving fans is about doing the unexpected. You can create bad raving fans by doing the unexpected. You can create good raving fans by doing the unexpected. But that is how you create raving fans. People rave about you when you do the unexpected. An easy example that I give to people is, look, as a financial advisor, what we tend to focus our business on is, hey, we want to help them and guide them in their finances. We want to help them in their investment portfolio, their financial planning. So when we do a great job there, we're shocked that people aren't raving about us. You're probably doing an incredible job in your investment strategies. At least I hope you are. You're probably doing an incredible job in the services that you offer your clients. But why aren't you getting the referrals? It's because your clients expect that from you. They're not going to rave about it. They're not going to be shocked because guess what? When they chose Brandon as their financial advisor, they expect him to give them good financial advice. They expect Brandon to invest their money well. It's like going into a room, turning on the light switch, and freaking out because the lights come on. You turn on the light switch and you're like, oh my gosh, the lights came on. Nobody does that. Even though it's amazing that the lights actually come on, nobody does it because when they flip the light switch, they expect the lights to come on. What causes people to rave about you? What causes people to rave about you and refer is you do the unexpected. You go above and beyond. And I want to give you just a couple examples in my experience in business. I like to look outside kind of the echo chambers that we get in. So like we're all in the financial world. I work with thousands and thousands of financial advisors. So we all listen probably to the same people. We're all looking at the same strategies and it's easy to get in the echo chambers. I like to look outside from a business perspective and look at some other companies and go, what are they doing? And a couple companies pop into my mind when I think about creating raving fans. One is Chick-fil-A. So I don't know if you guys like Chick-fil-A, love their chicken nuggets, but Chick-fil-A makes more money than their competitors in 6 days a week than their competitors do in 7. And I think the two closest competitors to Chick-fil-A and fast food combined don't make as much money as Chick-fil-A. Why is that? Why is it that Chick-fil-A almost has like a tribe or a cult type following? If you study the founder's story of Chick-fil-A, Kathy, this guy ends up going to a Ritz-Carlton. And the experience he had at a Ritz-Carlton blew him away, how he was treated, the things that they did that were unexpected, that he said, man, I want to take the Ritz-Carlton concept and I want to apply it to fast food. Try this the next time you go to Chick-fil-A. You're going to see this. What do they do that is so amazing? What they do is they do the unexpected. You walk into the fast food restaurant and guess what? It's clean. What if we all come to expect in fast food restaurants? We've expected them to not be that clean. You come to a fast food restaurant and guess what? In their drive-through lines, people joke all the time that, they should have been responsible for the drive-through lines at the COVID testing stations, right? To get those drive-through lines down. But you go to a drive-through line at a fast food restaurant, what do you expect? You expect to drive up to the place you order, place your order, and go around. What does Chick-fil-A do? They do the unexpected. They have people out there with iPads. So when the lines get long, they're coming up to your window and actually taking your order before you even get to the order station. Not only that, Chick-fil-A, they call you by name, not your order number when you're getting your food. If you go and sit down in their dining area, they bring you your food, just like a 5-star steakhouse will bring you your food. If you sit there in the dining room long enough and eat your food, they'll check in to give you a refill of your drink. Yeah. Why is this so incredible? It's really not earth-shattering to do stuff where you're checking people out with iPads, to call people by name and not an order number. It's not that earth-shattering of a process change, but the reason why it's so incredible is because it is unexpected in a fast food context. And because it's unexpected in a fast food context, it creates people to have such an experience that they rave about it and they become a fan. Here's a second example for you is Disney. So I got an interview on our podcast. Brandon talked about our podcast, Stay Paid. I got to interview the chief experience officer for Disney. And so this guy, he doesn't work at Disney any longer, but he opened up all these hotels at Disney. He used to run Disney's experience down there at their biggest theme park. And he said Disney's actually was the #1 employer in one location of employees, like 40,000+ employees in one location. And he said he wrote a book basically said, what would your business look like if Disney ran your business? And he said the reason why Disney has been so good at creating raving fans over the years is because they focus on the little things that are unexpected. He said, he gave me 2 examples. One is, he said, when the kids come into the park dressed up as a superhero, as their favorite prince or princess, their favorite Disney character, Disney literally has employees trained to go up to those kids, freak out, and ask the kids for their autograph. So if my little daughter, she's 2.5 years old, is dressed up as Cinderella, somebody at Disney is going to come up to Evelyn, freaking out, oh my goodness, it's Cinderella. Can I have your autograph? Can I get a picture with you? That makes the kid feel like $1 million. It makes it come to life for the kid. But guess who it really impacts? It impacts the parent. Because the parent was expecting to pay a lot of money to go to Disney, to have a good time and ride theme park rides and, eat food and all that stuff. But they didn't expect that. Here's a second one that's almost even more powerful. Disney empowers their employees that if they see one of their people in the park have a camera and the camera breaks, the person drops the camera or the camera breaks for any reason, Disney's employees are empowered to go into the shops at Disney and give them a free camera. And they have tracked the ROI on this of the cost of the camera to give to that person is well worth the investment, because guess what? That family who now thinks they've lost all these memories, are not going to be able to take pictures, can now take pictures. They go back and they track the ROI. They go back and see that those families come back to Disney multiple times and referrals happen from that little experience. Disney not only does that, they actually have in their job description of every employee from the janitor to the CEO that you pick up trash. If you've ever wondered why Disney has such great theme parks or clean theme parks, it's because every person in their job description, part of their job description is to pick up trash. Those things are unexpected, and it makes people turn into raving fans or have such a good experience that they want to come back and use you again. Last example from an outside industry that's super powerful. So there's this guy I interviewed named Jay Bear, and he's a consultant. And one of his projects that he was trying to figure out was a doctor's office. It was a foot doctor. What is that? Podiatry, I think. Yeah, podiatry. Brandon's giving me, thanks, Brandon. It's podiatry.
I got you.
Yeah, thanks, brother. So this doctor at this podiatry practice, it's blowing up. Like, I mean, just so successful. So Jay Baer is trying to understand what is causing this practice to just explode in referrals, and the patients just rave about it, the reviews they're getting. And he sits down and interviews a ton of the patients that go to this practice. And he asked them, hey, why do you choose, I don't remember the doctor's name, but let's call him Dr. Smith. Why do you choose Dr. Smith? Like I actually see where you're coming from. You actually pass 2 other doctors that you could go see. So you're driving a further distance. Why are you doing that? And what was insane was what came out of those interviews was the number one thing they said was, really love Dr. Smith. I feel like I know him and he calls me before my appointments. Dr. Smith had in his practice, anybody who was getting any procedure or it was a first-time appointment, Dr. Smith personally would pick up the phone and call them and introduce himself, tell them what to prepare for and what they could expect. The doctor does this. And here's why it's so powerful. That's a simple phone call, probably not a ton of the doctor's time to do, and he probably does it every single day. I've had 2 ACL surgeries. So I thought I was a basketball player. I'm obviously not, and I've torn my ACL twice playing basketball. Every time I did that surgery, the doctor never called me before the surgery. The doctor always called me after. If any of you guys have had procedures, you know the doctor calls you after. They check in, how's the pain, how's everything doing? Sometimes they don't even do that. They wait for you to come to your follow-up. So you expect the doctor to call you after and talk about the pain and the drugs and all that stuff, but you don't expect the doctor to call before. Dr. Smith just implemented this one little thing that is unexpected that turned his patients into raving fans, that caused them to drive past 2 other practices they could go to attend his podiatry. I hope in all these examples I've given you, I've driven home for you. Think about your business right now. How do you do the unexpected? We have a bunch of advisors right on this. You all do the same thing in essence. You're helping people with their finances. Now you might have your different little strategies and how you invest and what you would guide people to. But in essence, you're kind of doing the same thing from a product standpoint. How are you different than the advisor down the street from your onboarding process all the way through to your client retention strategies? What are you doing that is different, that is unexpected, that would cause people to rave about you? And how do you do this in your marketing? So that's really what I've been focused on for the last decade, is how do you get people to become raving fans from a marketing perspective? And why is it important? I have a couple stats up here on the screen, not to bore us with stats, but I know we all love them. 92% of advisors said that referrals from current clients are their best source of new business. 44.4% of high net worth clients found their wealth manager or advisor through referral. So how do you do this in your marketing? How do you get people to refer you time and time again and never leave you? So I have come up with basically an acronym because I'm a marketer and I think acronyms are easy to remember. I looked at our last 18 years of servicing clients, and we've done over 150 million pieces of direct mail, spent millions on social media advertising, email. We do, millions of emails a month in marketing. And I go, the campaigns that work, what is it about marketing campaigns that work versus the ones that don't, and what do they have? And I really found out that there's really 3 things that you have to have in your marketing campaign in order to turn those people into raving fans, in order to get people to never forget you, to know, like, and trust you if you're a fan of Zig Ziglar. There's 3 things you need, and I put it in an acronym called FIT, F-I-T. FIT stands for frequency, impact, and trust. And it's easy to remember. If your marketing's out of shape, if you're not getting enough referrals, you got to get it in shape, you got to get it fit. So I'm going to walk you through these 3 things and give you some tangible things that you can apply to help you in your marketing. So the first is the F, frequency. And I chose frequency because it has 2 meanings. The first is the obvious. How often, how frequent should you be in front of your database? How many clients do you have? 50, 25, 100, 250? How often should you be in front of them? How many touch points should you do a year? What's the magic formula that's going to get people to know you, like you, and trust you so they never leave and they refer you? So I'm going to give you the answer to this. So I know you've all been wondering, how many touch points should I do a year? I'm going to give you the answer. So if I lost you, come back. I'm going to give you the exact answer of how many touch points you should do. The answer is more. You should do more. So I know that might be a letdown. There is no magic number. I literally had this guy, Jay Pinnica, in Ameriprise. He was doing 33 touch points, and he's a $500 million producer in Ameriprise. I've had other clients do, 26 touch points. I'll give you an example of the reason why I say more. It is insanely hard to do too many touch points. I promise you, you will struggle to do too many touch points for your clients. It's so easy to do too little. I have a client, Brian Harris. He manages $1.2 billion, right? So mega producer, he's awesome. He does 275 touch points a year for his clients. 275 touch points. Now, he's an analytical guy. He's tracking everything he does. We are a part of his touch point system. He does 275. Now, most of you, when you think that, you're probably thinking, wow, that seems like overkill. That's crazy, 275 touch points. Here's the reality. This is why I chose the word frequency. It's not just about the amount of touch points, it's also the channel of communication. So just like in a car, you get into the car and you turn to the frequency, the radio station that you like to get the music you want to receive, your clients are no different when it comes to your communication strategy. There are 6 different frequencies of communication and marketing. So you have the email inbox. That's a frequency. Brian Harris sends out 52 emails, 1 a week. So kind of a newsletter type email, 1 a week. So you have an email inbox frequency. You have a direct mail frequency. We have a customizable magazine that I'll show you guys here in just a few minutes that Brian Harris does. It's knocking it out of the park. He does 6 of those a year to his client base. He does birthday cards. He does anniversary cards. He does spring cards, holiday cards. So he's doing a bunch of different touch points on the frequency of direct mail. He has social media is a frequency. Phone is a frequency. Voice to voice, I call it, is a frequency. Calling your clients. Face to face is a frequency that you can get in front of people. Do you do client events? Do you do seminars? Brian does multiple client events a year. And then you have screen to screen. Screen to screen is like a Zoom call, a video message, a text message. 6 different frequencies of communication. And here's the secret. Brian Harris doesn't send out 275 emails. That would be spam. He doesn't do 275 client events. In all of his touch points together, in all the different frequencies, he's doing 275 touch points. Here's the key. Brian Harris is always in front of his clients, but never overbearing because he's on every different frequency. They see him everywhere, but they never feel like he's just overwhelming in one of those frequencies. There's this crazy concept in psychology called the frequency illusion. And we should drive home the point of why you need multiple frequencies in your marketing. So you need digital, you need print, you need a client event. The frequency illusion is something that helps you in marketing. So have you ever bought a car before and you see that car everywhere? Mm-hmm. So I'm sure we've all experienced it. So you buy a car, you see the car everywhere. Why is that? It's not because you're Mr. Cool or Mrs. Cool, and all of a sudden you bought the car and everybody's out there buying the car the next day. What happens is you buy the car, it registers in your brain in something called the RAS, Reticulating Activating System. Because it becomes important to you, now all of a sudden, these cars that you were seeing all the time, but it wasn't registering in your brain, it's important to you now, so it comes into your purview. Like you start seeing it. So the frequency illusion is a similar phenomenon. And what it is basically if somebody sees you on multiple different frequencies. So right now you're seeing me on a screen-to-screen frequency. It's a webinar. So this is one frequency. Tonight, if you get an email from me, that's another frequency. If tomorrow you receive a print piece from me, that's another frequency. If someone sees you on multiple frequencies, what the frequency illusion states is that they think they see you more than they do. This is key. If they see you on multiple frequencies, it could be just 2 frequencies, their brain makes them think that they see you more than they do. The reason why you want to have multiple frequencies in your drip touch point plan is because you want to trigger that frequency illusion. Why? Because statistics show that normally about 76% of the time, a consumer will choose the first business they think of. So if you are out there and you're networking and you're prospecting, you're trying to earn new business, if you have a referral that's been given to you and you want to nurture that referral to invest their assets with you, you need to stay top of mind because the first person that a consumer thinks of, they tend to use that person because that's just how consumers are. So the frequency illusion, if you're tapping in to being on multiple different frequencies, but frequently in front of people, you can be first in the mind of the client. The minimum I tend to give people from a touch point standpoint is I've seen a lot of success with 26 touch points a year. So if you're looking for a number, because I know more is not something you can really apply. If you're looking for a number, I tend to coach people. I see success with my clients with about 26 touch points a year on multiple frequencies. One of those touch points should be a client event. And then we have print and emails and social that fill in the rest of those touch points. But 26 is a good number. Now, here's the thing. You need all three of these pieces for your marketing campaign to knock it out of the park. Frequency is great, but if you're just frequent, it's not going to create raving fans or produce the referrals and get these prospects to use you. You can be frequent with a piece of junk. In fact, most businesses market this way. You've all bought a car before. You've all bought a piece of furniture before. What does that furniture store do to you? What does that car dealership do to you? They frequently are in front of you, but they're in front of you with stuff that's not super relevant to you. I call it lottery marketing. If the promo doesn't hit you at the exact right time where you're in the buying mode for whatever they're offering, you toss it, you delete it. And so you need the I. The I is impact. So you need to be frequent in front of your database 26 times a year with impactful content. Content that will be impactful because impact leads to memorability. People actually will remember that. And that ultimately gets you deeper into being known and liked. And then that leads to the trust. So how do you become impactful in your content? That's the question. Like, how do you take this concept of doing impactful content and do it tactically? I believe impact in marketing is driven through relevancy. So I actually think that's the key to marketing. If you look at Facebook and Google, they make billions of dollars on ads. So that is the core of their business. Why are they so good at advertising? It's because they look at everything you do. So Brandon, they're looking at what you're searching, what you're clicking on, how long you're spending on it. They build a marketing profile on you. And then based upon what they believe are your likes and interests of what you've looked at, they serve you up relevant advertising. And because it's relevant to you, what happens? You pay attention. So how do you as an advisor translate what these billion-dollar companies are doing down to just your database of 50 clients, of 100 clients? How do you get impact? You need personalization. You need to focus in your touch points. How do I make my touch points personal? How do I connect on a personal level? A great hack for this is I call the Ford method. You've maybe known this method through sales, but Ford stands for family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. What I want all of you to do after this webinar is go to your database and look at your clients, even your prospects, and ask yourself, do I know the Ford method on my clients? If Luke is a client of yours, do I know his family? He's married to his wife, Megan. He has a daughter named Evelyn. They have a little boy that's going to be born next month. I'm excited about it. It's going to be awesome. Do you know that about me, right? And do you have that documented? Do you know my occupation? That I'm the president of ReminderMedia, what I do, what I'm trying to accomplish. Do you know my hobbies, my recreation, that I'm super involved in my church, I'm into music? Do you know my dreams, where I'm going, what I'm trying to do? Man, you as an advisor play such an important role in people's dreams. Why is this so important right now? People are so scared. The headlines are dictating so much nervousness in the market. You know this as much as I know this. How do you come in and win in an environment like this? The only way you win in an environment like this is you're not a transactional advisor. You're a relational advisor. In fact, you're an advisor. That's who you are, right? So it's most of the people when they market transactionally. They market service-based. You're sending product information, market information. People like that stuff, but if that's all you send and you never connect with me on my family, my occupation, my recreation, my dreams, all you are to me is a service, and I can get a service on an app. So how do you then go, okay, marketing wise, I have 26 touch points. How do I make them personal? Well, one of our products, right, is this customizable magazine that we offer. So we offer a customizable magazine for your business. We've been doing this for over a decade. It is blown up for us, and we get so many testimonials. You know why? Because the magazine's not filled with financial information. It's actually filled with content that consumers just love in their ordinary life. So this one's our health one. So if you want to be branded as a health and wealth advisor, it's going to be healthy recipes, fitness tips, healthy living. We have a home one. We have a general interest one that's travel, art, food. And what's so critical about it is the magazine gives you the ability to personalize. You can actually write on the inside front cover here, if I knew it was Brandon's anniversary, I could write him a personal letter saying, "Dear Brandon, happy anniversary. Hey, hope this next year is your best yet." And that letter would go to just Brandon in his magazine. What we hear from our advisors all the time is this is the one piece that they send out that they actually get phone calls from, text messages from. They have clients, there's recipes in here that people just love. They have clients make them cookie recipes, pies, bring it to their office. Because think about this, as a consumer, you're thinking about finance maybe 99% of the time because it's your job. I'm thinking about it 5% of the time, 10% of the time. But the way you communicate to me is all about finance. But 99 or 90% of my life, I'm not thinking about finance. I'm thinking about where I'm going on vacation, what I'm doing with my family, what I'm doing with my hobbies. The reason why this has been so successful for us is because it allows you to connect with your database on a personal level, more impactful level, that leads the relationship deeper to a know, like, and trust stage that ultimately keeps that client with you and then opens up the door for you to get referrals. You need impactful content that you can send that is personalized. Here's how you apply it on social media. So if you know, I'm into music, right? And I play at my church, right? You maybe could find a music article. Go to my wall on Facebook. "Hey, Luke, was thinking about you today, man. I know you're into playing guitar. I saw this article on guitars, thought you might enjoy it. Hope you're doing well." Regardless of if I like the article or not, this is the truth. The fact that you found an article, tied it to a personal thing that you know about me, posted it on my wall, I'm guaranteed to see it because those little red icons pop up and everybody wants to get rid of those. I see it, and guess what? Now I get a personal touch point from you that elevates now your relationship with me and my brand recognition with you and keeps me into relationship with you that I don't move in a market like this. That is just one little hack of how you could use this. So I'm going to wrap up with the T, because you can be frequent with impactful content and still not get business, because you can have frequency and impact, and that leads to friendship, but it doesn't mean they're going to trust you as the advisor. I have a lot of people that I'm friends with that I wouldn't trust my kids with or my finances with. So you also have to build trust in your marketing campaign. So you have to be frequently in front of them, at least 26 times a year, with impactful content that's personal to them on a lot of those touch points. But you also must, in your touch points, build you as the trust agent. You must be the SME, subject matter expert. When people think financial planning, when people think financial advising, they think you. So almost like your name is synonymous with your industry. How do you build trust in marketing? I think there's 3 ways you can do it really easily that can help you build trust. One is through your accolades. So when Brandon was introducing me, he was doing this. Brandon, why was he sharing all these accomplishments that I have done? And I didn't even ask him to do that. In fact, before we got on, I said, "Brandon, you don't have to give me any glowing info, man. You can just say, 'Hey, this is Luke, my friend.'" Like I literally was telling him, you don't have to do that. But he intros me with accolades. Why does he do that? Because he knows you guys don't know me. This may be the first interaction you've had with me. And what is he trying to do? He's trying to build trust. He knows, hey, I can say Luke's a marketer, but it's a lot better if I say Luke's a marketer and he's helped 100,000 small business owners. Luke's a marketer and he has a company that's been on the Inc. 5000 list of fastest growing companies 4 years in a row. It builds trust. It's not the end all be all, but it builds some trust. So how do you showcase to your clients some of your accolades in your drip? So like Seth Diener is a client of ours. He's at LPL and he just won an award. I think it was like the Patriots Award or something like that at LPL. He posted that on his LinkedIn. Guess what? That builds trust. It's not going to be the end all be all to make me invest with Seth right today because of that one post. But because he posted an accolade, I now see Seth in a little bit higher of a light. Accolades can be things, not just awards, can be how long have you been in the business? How many families have you served and helped? Accolades can also be how you give back. So if you Google ReminderMedia, like we do a charity issue every year of our magazine. We've donated thousands and thousands of dollars to things like CHOP and Feed America, all these things. You shouldn't give to charity just for the accolades of it, but it's a powerful piece to showcase to people that, hey, I'm doing something in my business. My business is thriving. So how do you showcase how you give back in your accolades to your clients? Second way you can build trust in your marketing, because saying what you've done is great, it's humble brags, but you got to be careful of it because people don't care ultimately. You also want to showcase what your clients say about you. Now, this is a recent change, obviously, in the financial world. And so you have to get with your compliance to make sure they give you the guidelines of how you can use client testimonials. But client testimonials in your marketing is an insanely powerful way to build trust. If you're able to showcase how you've helped the client, it elevates trust. So Brian Harris, I mentioned, right? $1.2 billion he manages, a client of mine. I think he said he's pulling like $6 million out of his practice. That type of guy, it's powerful if I say it. It's way more powerful if Brian Harris gets up and says it. And actually, I was at a conference in Phoenix and Brian Harris was speaking, and he was up at a conference and said, this is my drip program. This is what I do. I use this magazine. They're actually here. You guys could go see them. And we had an amazing conference. Why? Because Brian Harris's credibility that he gave to our business sent us through the roof for that conference. So client testimonials are another way. The third way is the hardest, but it's the most important: educational content. You need to be putting out educational content on your subject matter consistently. So these can be things like market updates, things to educate people of what to prepare for. You can put out educational content consistently. It shouldn't be all of your 26 touches, but it needs to be peppered in there. Maybe every other one is an educational piece of content that you're sending out to your database to showcase your authority on this subject matter. So I'll give you an example in my business. So Brandon mentioned I have a podcast. I've been doing it for almost 6 years. I'm going to tell you guys, I grew up in a family of 8 kids. My dad's a pastor, so he believed in being fruitful and multiply, I guess. So I grew up in a family of 8 kids, right? For the first 3 years of doing this podcast, nobody listened to our podcast, not even my siblings. I have 7 siblings, and not even my siblings. I think my mom listened because she loves me, but they didn't even listen. I'm telling you, nobody listened. I put out educational content on sales and marketing because it's my passion. It's what I love. It's what I study. It's what I do all day long, Mondays and Thursdays. And I did it for 3 years straight. Nobody listens. All of a sudden, slowly starts getting traction, builds. Been doing it for 6 years. Like Brandon said, we're always usually in the top 30. We're getting so many leads for our business because why? Because people kept seeing, even if they didn't watch every episode, they kept seeing Luke put out educational content on the subject matter of marketing and sales. And guess what? When in their journey, maybe that moment they saw the first episode, they didn't have a need for marketing. Second episode, they didn't have a need for marketing. 10th episode, they didn't have a need. The 50th episode, all of a sudden in their journey, the timing was right. They had a need for marketing. And guess who they're thinking of? Oh man, Luke loves marketing. This guy's talking about marketing all the time. Let me get Luke's idea. Let me get Luke's opinion. And they source his leads. How do you do this as an advisor? A simple way to get content: sit down, write out your frequently asked questions. What are the most asked questions that you get all the time right now on the market, that you get all the time when it comes to people investing money, that you get all the time when it comes to 401ks, whatever it is? What are your frequently asked questions? How do you put out content on that? How do you get with a company that can give you content that you can post constantly out there through email, through social, on these different frequencies to elevate you as a subject matter expert? That is the key. And I tell you this with absolute confidence: when you implement frequency with impactful personalized touch points plus educational content, that is what leads people to refer you. They end up knowing you, liking you, trusting you, and they rave about you. I've done this in 142 different industries at this point, and every single industry that I've done it in where I applied these 3 tactics, that is what produces results. I know this with conviction. I told you guys about the magazine. As I looked back over the 150 million that we've sent, it's frequent, it's bi-monthly, comes out every 2 months. Not only that, it's print and digital. So you get a digital version of the magazine that you can have, that you can send through email, you can post on your social, so you're hitting multiple frequencies. You can text it to people. It's impactful. Why? Because the content's not just about finance, it's about things that the client might care about. You can personalize it down to the individual. You can write a letter on the inside cover. You can customize the back cover of the magazine with a charity that you support. You could even feature, like if your client's a doctor, you could feature your client, the doctor, on the back cover of your magazine as a way just to support them in their practice. And then it builds trust because it enables you the ability not only to showcase your brand, like your photos, logos, but it enables you could put client testimonials on it. You could put educational content with your magazine. You not only can do that, you could showcase accolades that you have with your magazine. This is one of our products that we offer. It's our most popular one that hits on all these three pillars. We find over the course of doing this for 12 months, people are seeing 50+% referral rate. 84% of the advisors who try us one time continue mailing it to their client base. And the testimonial that I hear constantly is that, Luke, this is the one thing I send that I actually get phone calls from, that people will talk to me, and when I see them at church or in the grocery store, whether it's about a recipe. I've had people tell me I actually have to read my magazine because my clients talk to me about it. And I said, well, we give you a cheat sheet that you can just see what was in your magazine bullet point wise. But this is what I've been doing. I tell people, if you're interested in this, I can do a 48-page coffee table publication designed and delivered to your database for you, compliance approved, for less than a Hallmark card. So I don't know if you've been to CVS or Walmart lately, but the Hallmark card's like $5, $6, sometimes $7. You still got to put stamps on it, take it to the mailbox, write in it. This is only $4.49, and that's shipping included. So $4.49 gets designed to delivered, and the minimum order is only 50 magazines. So 50 of your top families, top clients, you can drip on 6 times a year with this magazine, and then you can add on the digital if you want to do that. Anybody who's interested in this, we are doing something to basically incentivize people to try it. Normally, we have a $300 setup fee. We're doing our setup fee for only $49.99, just as a way to incentivize action takers. And what this does is basically gives you a marketing coach. We set up your whole magazine, design it. You can see there's a bunch of different options of magazines to choose from. It's exclusive. So if I send the magazine to Brandon, no other advisor or business can send the magazine to him. It's exclusive. You own your clients. And then the way the process works is you would go to ReminderMedia.com/deal. And that then will take you to this page where you can fill out your information. The only thing you pay up front is just the $49.99. And then we set up your magazine. We show it to you, get it approved through compliance. Once you're good to go to print, that's when you pay for the magazines, $4.49 per. And we throw in a free month of our digital doing this. So you get our digital, which can be sent through email. You get our digital, not only magazine, but you get our social media shares. So Brandon mentioned content on social and seeing the same thing over and over again. We give you a library of content that is refreshed all the time, of thousands of different pieces of content that is branded to you, that you can schedule out and share on your social media, and we automate all that for you. So I'm going to stop there. I appreciate so much the opportunity to share with you guys. What I want you to take away from this is go back to your marketing and go, am I frequent? Am I doing 26 touch points? And do I at least have 2 or more frequencies? Email and print, or social and print, or a client event in print. Do I have at least 2+ frequencies, and try to build to the 6? Am I sending impactful content? Am I just sending service-based and transactional information, or do I have a relationship-driven touch point going for me? And then am I building trust? Am I showcasing my authority on a subject matter by showcasing educational content, accolades, and testimonials? If you do those 3 things, I promise you it will help you in your business. So really appreciate the opportunity to present to you guys and share. And I hope you saw this as value. And I would love to take any questions. If you have any questions on the magazine, or if anything that I talked about today, we'd love to take questions.
Awesome. Well, you guys utilize the chat to send in those questions or come off mute to ask questions. I'm going to share with you a couple of my big takeaways that I found really, really wow moments. And one was, Luke, you mentioned how many referrals you guys get, and I broke that down. So if you've got 250 clients and you're doing what Luke's doing, you're going to get 155 referrals. I mean, that is a meaningful shift in how you approach and build and grow your practice. I loved the Ford method. That just makes sense. Do you know all these things? And then talking just more and more about the unexpected. What are you doing that isn't expected from your clients? Because again, I hear that from a lot of advisors. I'm providing great service. I'm doing this. How come no one's referring? That's a part of it, right? You have that level. No one cheers when the light turns on. is going to be a statement that I want to use more and more because I thought that was brilliant. So Jerry said, Luke, everything you shared was perfectly clear. Loved it. Has good takeaways. So
thank you. I appreciate
positive
that
there.
so much, Jerry.
Give it a few more minutes. Luke, thanks once again for sharing. High energy, great insights. I mean, a lot of this stuff.
I talk really fast, man. I told you. It's like, it's a blessing and a curse. I talk really fast, but yeah, no, I really appreciate the opportunity. And my hope is obviously connect with me. I put my social up there on the screen for the company, the podcast, and then my personal social. Would love to connect with each of you if I can help you in your marketing, even if you don't use our products and stuff. Would love to connect. It's about relationships. Relationships really are the currency and lifeblood of business. So the more people I can connect with and we can get to know each other when the timing's right, if I can help you, would love that opportunity.
Awesome. We got another thank you. Great presentation. Great speaker came through. So, hey, it's been positive. We're going to get this. We're going to have it being sent out. If you want to rewatch it, I'm going to have to rewatch it so I can grab some of the, well, as Luke calls them, the golden nuggets, as I can grab some of those out of the presentation. But please contact Luke. His team is one of the only, if not the only, approved third-party marketing that many broker-dealers allow their advisors to use. This stuff is plug and play. I personally had a ReminderMedia account. I went through just to see how complicated is it to get set up where I could segment clients. I could choose what to send out, how often, what it looks like. I think it took maybe an hour. And I had a sample of, if I had a book of 400, I had them all set up on exactly how I was going to market and getting them out. And 1 hour, plugged and played. And that's all it took.
Yep. And we tell people, like, I mean, our goal, obviously, we're the marketers. That's what we love to do. So you'll get a marketing coach that's assigned to you that you can reach out to, but we'll also set up everything for you. So we really need 3 things from you, which is just your photo, who you're thinking you would want to send it to out of your A list, B list, C list, and then your contact information of what you want to show on the magazine. We'll design everything else, show it to you, and then you can take a look if you are interested, right? And you can let us know, and we can follow up and all that good stuff. But this is the print one. There's the digital magazine that obviously we can show you, social media, and then we have a couple email basically that you can send, email newsletters, local event emails that you can send in our interface that can be automated, shared on your social as well.
Awesome. Well, Luke, thank you once again. Everyone, reach out to Luke. Yes, Jerry, we're going to get this recording out. Share it. The more people that you want to have this info, get it in front of them. I think it's game changing on the way that we think about, the idea of more. And really, I think mind kind of flipping is that idea of frequency, right? How are you getting in front of them? At what frequency are you touching on? Because there is some clients prefer different ways, and some people like the digital, some people like as you said, the live print that comes through. So having more of those frequencies is awesome. As Meredith put, our team will send it out. If you don't see it tomorrow, check your spam. We'll post it online. We'll post it on social media. If you want to get in touch with Luke for whatever reason, can't find him on these, just let us know. We'll get you connected, and we'll keep that ball rolling.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Brandon,
Awesome.
Thank you. Meredith, thank you. Appreciate it. And then everybody who attended, really appreciate it and look forward to getting to know you guys more.
Awesome. Thank you.